Hi everyone. Today we have another Hermes 3000, one of those round early models, or as they call them, curvy models. And this is part of a series showing you how to clean, repair, line adjust Hermes 3000 and Media 3 typewriters. Today I have here the case of such an early typewriter, and well, I don't know if that's visible, but the case has a lot of rust. I've already cleaned this up with a brush and a cleaner, and this little paw, basically you use it to open the case. So you pull this little lever to the right, and then the case opens, and the little lever should pop back all the way in. As you can see, this one is catching. It's just very rusty, so it doesn't go all the way back. That's a normal problem with this. It's quite common, and today I'm going to show you how to remove the case handle and how to replace it. Or you might even want to clean this one. I'm removing this one in order to clean it. I'm gonna use a solution which removes rust, so I'm gonna soak these rusty bits with that solution, and for this reason I need to remove the case handle, and I'll show you how. Another thing which I have tried to do in the past, if you have maybe just a bit of surface rust, you can apply a bit of there's a product, it's like called Rust-Oleum, I believe. It's a gel that removes rust. It's really used for surface rust. It's not used for bed rust, like you can see here. And the best thing about it is, if you try to apply this gel, obviously you need to mask the paint so not to damage it, but the gel will get into all these little nooks and crannies, and it will stay there forever, and it will cause a lot more problems in the future. So I definitely don't recommend that. So it's always best to remove the case handle if you want to treat it properly. So for this reason you need to remove, I'm gonna just try to zoom in my camera, there's 4 lock nuts over here. You need to remove those, and for this reason you need a hex socket. Oh, let me show you on the camera. A hex socket nut driver. So this one is an 8mm, and you can easily remove those. And keep those somewhere safe where they're not gonna fly away. So keep them in this little container over here. All right. And then you have these 2 little metal plates. They just pop right out. So if you're taking this apart and you want to remember how to put it back, I'd suggest take a lot of photos before you remove anything. So this little plate, as you can see, it goes on this way. So I'm removing these 2 plates, and then you can just pop out your case handle like this, and then this piece, it has an extra, a little extra, I guess, a little arm, so you need to kind of wiggle it out and this way you remove the right part of the handle as well. So there's a few springs over here in this part which are driving this mechanism, which is the latch, and you can also take this apart to replace the little springs in there. And so what I'll do is I'll give these a little brush, and then I'll soak them in a component that removes rust. There's many out there on the market. You can buy some of them in your local store. And then, so later, if you want to assemble this, you just go the same way. Well, maybe I can demonstrate a bit. I'm not gonna put this back, but I'm gonna try and show. Let me zoom out a bit. So first thing is the little bar. It goes back like this. So this little guy pops here in the center. That's the mechanism, the spring mechanism. And then this part goes back. Make sure it's centered. You have to make sure it's nicely centered. And then you insert this part of the handle. So you see this little hole here? It must match with this little piece here. So it goes on like that. But first you need to attach this piece. Like so. And then you fix this part as well, and then you screw the 4 nuts on the back side, and that's it basically. That's how you remove the case handle on these. And you can, well, I'm gonna give this one a good clean, good polish. I'm gonna remove the rust on this, and I'm just gonna put it back. And then you can even try some mineral spirits if this little piece doesn't pop back on. But I believe if I remove the rust, lubricate it a bit on all pivots, it's gonna work perfectly fine. And that's it. So I've cleaned the hardware of the rust as best as I can, and then I'm now gonna go ahead and seal it with a wax spray. It's a turtle wax sealant, but you can use any sealant that's on your head. And I'm just gonna give it a spray and just wipe it on. So that will create a very fine layer of wax, which will protect my hardware longer, so it will not, hopefully not get rusty again. And in this case, I actually used a gel rust remover for a couple of hours. And after that, I used steel wool to polish the pieces. And I used isopropyl alcohol to remove the rust gel. And now with this layer of wax on top of my hardware, it will really give it a nice finish. As you can see, it has some shine to it, and now we're gonna go ahead and put it back on the case. All right. So let's go ahead and test the case on the typewriter. So here's the typewriter. Don't mind that the typewriter is missing the carriage. It's still work in progress, but in any way the case should fit without the carriage, so it doesn't really matter. So it goes on from behind. Okay, I am catching on this cloth right here. So it goes on from behind, and then if you press the case, it should click right in. So your typewriter, it should be sitting behind this bar of the case. So as you can see, the typewriter is behind it. Sometimes a lot of people put the case on and don't realize that the back hasn't gripped the typewriter, and then you need to remove the feet and this cover in order to get the case off. But in this case we are just testing if the case works all right. So you can hear the clicking. Typewriter is secure. You press this button to the right and you open it. You have to make sure it's locking on the back side, otherwise it will not click in. Yeah, it works perfectly. And the case on the inside has these two little what are they? I don't know, arms, and they basically go in these two holes. That's the early model Hermes 3000. And sometimes what happens with these is that this little piece right here gets bent, or this little piece gets bent, and then the distance here changes ever so slightly, and then you cannot get the two latches in the holes. So what you can use is a nose plier and well, slightly bend those until these fit your case. That was the case with this one. It previously had some damage and it was not close. But now it works perfectly. So that's how you remove and replace and clean the handle on a Hermes 3000.